Hi teacher, my name is Saúl Alberto Guadarrama Delgado.
Hi teacher, my name is Cristian Ibrahim Salomon Marquez.
Hi teacher, my name is Guillermo Arturo Sánchez Iriarte.
Today we will talking about the Greek culture. Everyone has heard something about this famous culture. Uh, it could be the famous Greek philosophers of many years ago, even a history of mythological gods such as the well-known Zeus. Well, now we are going to explain and understand more this Greek culture of this country.
The customs of Greek. The Greek people are deeply rooted in their own customs and traditions, especially in the island areas of the country, where these customs and traditions have been passed from generation to generation through gastronomy, literature, folklore, and art. For example, of one custom is the food. The Greek says that it's better to share it with family and friends. Other customs are breaking plates at big celebrations. It's very common for dishes to be drawn on the ground. This history is for the Greeks a way to expressing, and if it is done at weddings, it also fulfills the function wording of evil spirits to protect the newlyweds. In the Christmas in honor of Saint Nicholas. During Christmas, the Greeks are visited by the Calicanthrosori elves who come down the chimneys of the houses and who scares people until January 6th. And the superstitions in Greece, the evil eye in Greece. Greeks are also somewhat superstitious, especially those who live in the small towns and rural areas. He has the Greeks a carnival carnival is a holiday that is celebrated in style in Greece, saying it begins then 10 weeks before Orthodox Easter's and lasts for several days. In some cities like Patras, there is great parade as one of the best carnivals in the world. Another likes Galaxy D, The Flower War, or Alex Ro Polemos takes place.
Now I am going to talk about the Greek mythology. The Greek mythology is a series of explanations that the inhabitants of the ancient Greece have to explain, have, have to understand the world, and that's ruined them. There were beliefs that the Greeks have aspects like the origin of the man, the creation of the universe, human intelligence, the feeling of love and war, and so on. All the human, all the condition of human is the beings is were explained of these myths, and that brought together the great gods who lived in Olympus and were in charge of managing that in the world. Some of the most important gods is Zeus, God is the god of the sky, the highest god of Olympus, Hera, wife of Zeus, Hephaestus, god of fire, Apollo is the protector of the music and the medicine, Apollodorus, uh, uh, Atenea, goddess of wisdom and a monk, Hermes is the messenger of the gods, and all more that I mentioned are sons of Zeus.
Gastronomy of the Greece. The gastronomy of the Greece is the cuisine in culinary arts practice by the people of Greece. Given the geography and the story of the Greece, the cooking style in typically Mediterranean, why techniques and ingredients, char, the by Italy, Middle Eastern, the best now. This is a great cleanse. The countries of there are the miss and suit of the horse. The overs or the starters generally served with also The best now of the dishes, the great gastronomy and the musca, the best the wine and the beer. Also, also and the memedexa are the Greek drinks of the international renown.
Okay, the philosophy of the Greeks. The Greek philosophy focused on the role of the reason and logic. Many philosophers today acknowledge that Greek philosophy has shaped Western thought since its inception. As Alfred Whitehead once said, Western philosophy is just a series of the footnotes from Plato. Clear lines of Greek philosophical thought reached medieval Islamic philosophers of the European Renaissance and Enlightenment. Some claim that Greek philosophy is was influenced by the literature and mythology of the ancient Near East. Some of the greatest thinkers of the ancient world arose in Greece, and in particular from Athens. Philosophy, or love of wisdoms, was his way of seeking truth and reality in the world without depending on the answers given by religion or mythology. Mm.
Now the art. Mythical tales play an important role in almost all genres of Greek literature. Despite this, the only mythological graphic manual that we have is in Greek antiquity, the Library of Pseudo Apollodorus. This work attempts to reconcile the conflicting stories of the poets and provides a great summary of a traditional Greek mythology and heroic legends. Based on these beliefs uh, of the gods, various of some works were dedicated to them. Uh, so much many of temples and ceramic and other things, etc. etc. The Greek art is highly influenced by the philosophers like Aristotle, Socrates, etc. And even his religion. Among his most recognizable works is Venus of the Nilo, Diphodorus, the Discobolo, Aphrodite of the Nilo, and many more. This is extremely ancient Greece, as the Spartans that, interestingly, the Spartans was be the only line, the defense of the ancient Greece.
The history, the Hellenic civilization of the ancient Greece spread the strong of the Balkan Peninsula, the island of the AGC, the coast of the Anatolian Peninsula into present-day Turkey, constituting the so-called Hellas. The great civilization had a strong development in the philosophy field. It's often considered the create the Western civilization. Since the great thinkers were the one we developed the first concept of the philosophy, among the which was the concept of the physics of the atom. And these are the simple city characteristics with the construction of the temples, while one large pillar of the goblet efforts.
Okay, in conclusion, we have chosen this topic science from the beginning of entire high school. We had the matter of Greco-Latin etymologies, which did not give a glimpse of the culture of the Greece. And currently, in the matter of history, we are seeing what ancient Greece was and how it was his history with the gods. And after all that, we decide that Greece will be our theme of the project because we all found it very interesting, and we believe that very little was known about what this culture had. Thank you.